Good morning. Boy, is it gray out here. I'm not even sure I need these sunglasses. There we go. Can't see. It's so gray. It's daylight, but anyway, day after Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holiday. All that good stuff. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. You know, I don't know if you're getting back in the grind today, or if you're going to, you know, take a break, whatever. But we're all handing out gifts and receiving gifts, of course. And I thought I would talk about status markers today. So, what's a status marker? Status marker is where people are basically hunting for specific brand name things to try to indicate status, you know. And the message, of course, is don't be enslaved by status markers. It's really interesting how people, you know, this goes back. Of course, I grew up in Rochester, and you know, there were certain things that were cool when I was a kid. So I'm going to date myself now. Converse All-Stars were cool. I think they're still cool. I have Converse All-Stars, you know, that I wear and have. You know what I mean? My workout shoes are Converse All-Stars when I'm not doing cardio, like running and stuff like that. When I'm lifting, I wear All-Stars because they're good lifting shoes. But anyway, that was when I was a kid. Like, having Converse All-Stars was cool, right? And if you didn't have the Converse All-Star symbol, the little circle on your shoe, you know, you were like, something was wrong with you. You know, like your parents are poor or whatever. And like, hey, now my parents, I mean, my story on this, like, my parents were fairly successful for a while, then they divorced and some stuff happened, and then, like, we had, like, no money by the time I hit high school. But when I was a kid, like elementary school, middle school, they had money. They were pretty well off. And yet, my parents had a mindset. I see Kmart, I know. Kmart was the place, because, see, Walmart wasn't a thing, so I'm dating myself even more now. Kmart was where you went to get discount stuff, and so my mom would always take me to Kmart, and then I'd want the Converse All-Stars, but Kmart didn't have Converse All-Stars. They had the Kmart brand, you see. So I didn't get the little circle that said Converse All-Star on it. I had the fake Converse All-Stars, and so I'd end up getting those, and of course I would have to then defend myself and defend my honor. I'm laughing at some of the comments. But yeah, so I'm having to defend my honor, right? Because I defend my personhood and my value, because my parents must be poor, because they don't have the real Converse All-Stars, which are not even expensive shoes, by the way. It was just stupid crap that, you know, kids would do to each other. Kids would find a reason to make fun of, or, you know, screw with each other because, and they did it in my neighborhood in Rochester, of course. It was over brand name stuff, and so ridiculous, yeah. So that's just, you know, the ridiculousness that happens in a place like Rochester or Birmingham or some of these, a lot of upscale places you might live, but it happens too in inner city and, you know, a little bit poorer neighborhoods. You know, if you don't have the right pair of Nikes on, if you don't have the right ball cap on, you know, there's something wrong with you. It's indicating a status. Well, it's funny because wealthy people think they're so much better than that a lot of times, and then they're not. They're just spending more money. So, like, certain brand name clothing and watches now, do you know what I mean? And jewelry and stuff becomes the new status marker, or what kind of boat you have, or what your brand of car is. Is it, and well, do you have the Audi? Yeah, you know, you have the A8, you know, or is it an Audi with less of an engine, right, or something? And it's just like stuff like that. So, my message to you is this: is that if you want to be a little bit happier, maybe step outside all of that. There's a good book called Millionaire Next Door, and it's an older one, but it talks about millionaires, which, you know, now would be multimillionaires, because having $1 million is nice, but it's not that uncommon anymore. You talked about the millionaires who had real wealth, and they were the people that, you know, the analogy was big hat and no cattle, you know, small hat, lots of cattle kind of thing. So it was this farming analogy. But these people that didn't, you know, people that dress just normal or wear whatever they want, whether it be, you know, jeans and a t-shirt, whatever it may be, but they had assets, they had money, they didn't have debts, you know, they weren't trying to flash the wealth that they did have, or what little bit of wealth or money that they might have, with things, and trying to compete with others and people around them with brand name stuff and, you know, so forth. They had, and they were the ones who had money in the bank account. They were the people who were really truly rich. And then this book author had interviewed other people, a lot of them who were very much into status markers: what kind of car you drive, what brand of clothing you have, what brand of watch you have, stuff like that. I mentioned in the watch because people were knocking on me because I have a Michael Kors watch that I'm very happy with. This guy is red band, you know, and it's a chronographic. Yeah, I know Michael Kors is like middle class rich, you know what I'm saying? I get it. You know, lots of people think Michael Kors is a big cool thing, but Michael Kors isn't necessarily Louis Vuitton, isn't even Coach, you know, so like calm down. But Michael Kors, they make nice stuff, right? Who cares, right? So if I want to wear something that's Michael Kors because I like the crap that he has, and it just, I happen to like the watch, I'm not really looking at the price tag, you know what I mean? I have certain things that are at a higher price point than other things, you know, and I don't personally flash the brand. It's not what I do. But a lot of people, again, are into that status marker, and I think that status marking can be a little bit of a prison in a way. But of course, you pay attention to nice brands that may be a little bit more, you know, of a price tag. But why would, you know, I pay attention to certain clothing brands only because they fit me well, and I know that style and that fit will do well, and because I like the style that particular designer makes a good style for me, then I pay attention to it. But it's not to flash the brand name, you know. It's not to spend extra money on something because it has a brand name to it. You know, I think of Uggs too. There's another one. Uggs are ugly boots that have no function whatsoever. You get them wet and they're done. I mean, and there's more expensive, higher brand name boots out there, you know, higher price boots, but people want the Uggs because they're literally buying something that you could buy for half the price without the brand name Uggs on it. It's just garbage, you know, but people want the garbage because they think Uggs is going to be some sort of status marker for them. That's the Converse All-Stars for me back when I was a kid, right? And so, you know, that if I don't have this brand, I'm not going to be the cool kid, you know. It's like real actual wealthy people don't even care about Uggs. They're going to wear something completely different. Usually, I know this because I know people with a lot more money than I do, and they're not like, oh, Uggs, I'm going to buy that because of their brand name, you know, like it's not a big deal for them. So anyways, but yeah, back to the point is that status marking acts as more or less of a prison. You're imprisoning yourself by other people's opinions and trying to mark your status, mark your wealth status, stuff like that with a thing or a brand name. And it's a ridiculous way to go, in my opinion. Just go with what you like, you know. There's a lot of millionaires that don't have a big hat, but they got a lot of cattle, right? That means they live how they want, they do what they want, and they might just be wearing sweatpants at the grocery store, and you might not realize that it's them. And these are some of the people that I admire, you know, because they're not out there trying to flash who they are by wearing only certain things to try to mark their status. I think that's a very insecure way to go, and I don't care if I have $100 in my pocket or in my bank account or $1 billion in my bank account. I'm not going to be driven by those insecurities, and however much money you have in yours, I suggest that you do the same. So thanks again for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful day after Christmas, and go get some work done.